cool, man.
Yeah.
Yo. Oh, man.
Let's go.
Finally we came back. Yo, my bad, y'all. Me and Leaky Lee had to run out and grab some things, for the crib. And we're back.
Yeah.
So, last time we left off on Nightmare Files, 16 Horror Stories Animated. We got the part 1 out, and then this is part 2. We had to go and grab some things, so my bad about not completing the whole thing. So, we're going to get right back into it. So, please subscribe to the channel and let's get back into it. Boom.
Christmas and I was a freshman in high school. It was Christmas and I was a freshman in high school. My family has been split up for some time, so normally we trade off Christmas Day and Christmas Eve each year.
Okay.
And this year, I had come home early from my grandparents' Christmas party, while everyone else was at my aunt and uncle's celebrating another party. When I was dropped off, my cousins offered to stay with me for a few hours, but I declined. I thought I could watch some of my new DVDs and get some alone time in his house, which is a rarity. I had noticed an unfamiliar car parked on the street, but didn't think anything of it, considering it was Christmas Eve. Probably a neighbor's relative or something. I hadn't been home for more than 15 minutes when there was a knock at the door. I unlocked the door and opened it only a crack to see a man standing there. Dark hair.
What the heck?
Slightly overweight and dressed casually. He didn't look like much of a threat, but my stomach dropped. He asked, I was wondering about the car outside. Is it for sale? I told him I don't think so. Is there someone here I can talk to about it? I said, quite stupidly, no, you can come back another time. And I shut the door and turned the lock as fast as I could. He reached for the door handle immediately and started pounding.
Yeah, there's just some crazy people out there,
Terrified,
man.
I was crawling on the floor to the phone, hoping he would.
Why he went rogue like that?
Being that joint like an animal.
Garage door, and it led through to the laundry room, where the door lock was broken and no one had bothered to fix it.
Wait a minute, why would y'all leave that open like that?
When I saw the man through the window run to his car and drive off, my uncle had gotten him just in time.
Look, I understand that you do need to get certain things fixed, but come on, the back garage thing ain't even fixed yet. That would be the main thing on my priority.
Yeah.
So no critters or random people could just walk back there and just take stuff.
Time, and he scared him away. Who knows what would have happened if he hadn't made it home in time. Sadly, we didn't get the plate number, and nothing ever came of it. But I'll never be home alone again on the holidays.
Oh, God.
Okay, what was that?
What's this? Probably a new anime that we can watch. Alright, let's get back into it. That got me excited a little bit.
We used to have this neighbor. His name was George. He was about 50 years old at the time. He lived alone, and I swear all he used to do.
Why he look like Eric Bischoff from WWE? Oh my God!
Kids would knock on his door asking for their ball back. He would always curse at them and make a big fuss about it. Sometimes he wouldn't even get the ball back until a week later, when he would just puncture the ball and it would be flat, and then he'll just
come on, bro.
the fence.
Like, you ain't had to do that though.
But there is neighbors like that though.
Second weekend of the month, he would go fishing for 2 days. I was 15 at the time of this story, and one day myself and my friend, we came up with an idea to sneak into George's house. Because as dumb teenagers, we thought it would be hilarious. So that following weekend, George left for his weekend fishing trip. And that same night, me and my friend, who was sleeping at my house at the time, we snuck out late Then went to check George's creepy house.
The sense of
Always knew
adventure.
he left a spare key under his plant pot, so getting inside was easy. I know this is breaking and entering, but what we discovered in the house made me thankful that my friend and I came up with this dumb idea. We looked around George's house. Most of the rooms were pretty normal as far as normal goes. My friend went off and looked around the other rooms while I went into his office. There was a computer there. I moved the mouse around and clicked on the login. Funny enough, he didn't even have a password. I looked around his PC desktop at what applications he had. Pretty basic stuff, but I noticed a file called Favorite Photos. I clicked on it and saw hundreds and hundreds of inappropriate pictures of children in our neighborhood.
Yo, what?
I was thinking to myself,
I knew he was a creep. Something just ain't right. Yo, come on, bro.
Another room. So I need to look at
This man is R. Kelly.
I left the computer desk and went to have a look. My friend found a duffel bag with duct tape, sleeping pills, candy, a long piece of rope,
And a
Oh, yeah.
a
gun.
loaded gun.
Oh yeah, he was playing
Oh,
inside.
he was
In
plotting.
shock. I also told him, and I showed him what I found on his computer. We both were scared as hell, and it wasn't funny anymore. We put everything back the way we found it and snuck out back to my house. Me and my friend didn't know who to call. We didn't
Yo.
want to call the police.
Yeah, like who can you call? You did break in his house and seen all that.
We chose not
Yeah.
to say anything.
So it's kind of like,
Until this story.
but you gotta tell somebody. I'd rather get in trouble than and let people know than just not say nothing at all.
In the place where the
Man.
prom was being held in a big lodge in the middle of the
Oh,
countryside.
prom.
Mm-hmm.
Prom was going pretty well.
Yo, prom be
I
lit.
stood outside to have a
You really
cigarette.
do.
I stood outside around.
You know, I'm not gonna keep on pausing y'all, but yo, when I went to prom, trust me, yo, I am a full nerd. No girls didn't want to go with me to prom, and I felt it sad. You know who I took to prom? This guy right here. I took him. Yo, we had a blast, bro. And it's so crazy. The girls that had dates didn't even go up there and dance,
Yeah.
and I had a good time with him.
We
So-
were just partying though.
Yo, I'm glad I took him to prom. Yo,
Mhm.
we had more
And
fun.
also our other friend though.
Yo, we had more fun
Yeah,
than
we was just partying, just dancing.
we had way more fun than if I would have brought a chick.
On the back of the building. I lit my cigarette and enjoyed the view of the countryside. As I was looking around, I noticed something in the distance out in the field. It was a figure walking toward the
They
lodge.
wouldn't let you go out to prom and smoke
I
though.
kept my eye on
No.
the figure as I was smoking. At some point, the figure must have noticed me because it stopped. Then it started running toward me full speed,
Oh,
getting closer.
bro, you better run in there.
I could
Why
see
you just
him.
standing there?
A crazy dude was
There we
sprinting
go.
really fast with long gray hair, carrying what looked like a hatchet. The guy seemed to be smiling, but angry at the same time. I dropped my cigarette and I turned around to go back inside.
Why you walking so
The door was
slow?
shut behind me, as it was a fire exit, and only opened one way. I started banging on the door, screaming for someone to let me in. It was too late to run around the front of the lodge.
Man, shoot.
Man, pray that somebody answered that. Man,
I kept banging on the doors, but I was thinking I wasn't going to be heard as the music was playing loudly. And I was thinking I was about to die. Just before the man got close, the fire escape door opened with my friend asking what's going on. I quickly pushed her back and I scrambled inside. I also slammed the door shut right behind me. As soon as
Wow.
the door closed, I pressed my ear against it and I tried to listen to see if the man was still there. All I heard was heavy breathing. Then I heard footsteps walking away on the stones. I told my friend about what I just saw,
Yo.
but she didn't believe me. She said it must have been one of the guys playing a prank on me, but I know what I saw. I couldn't enjoy the rest of the prom after this knowing
Yeah, I wouldn't
there was a
either.
man out there.
True. I see somebody
Luckily,
trying
nothing
to
happened
trying to catch me and got a
I was
hatchet.
worried about whoever that man was. again, what will happen?
The classic jump scare.
I know.
When I was 17, I didn't have a driver's license. Most of the time I walked or hitchhike. There was this one night. There weren't that many cars on the road, and it was very cold. And this man pulled over. When the guy pulled over, I took a good look at the guy and figured I could take him if he tried anything. He was on the slender side and had a strange frailness about him, even though he looked healthy enough. I got into the car
His eyes
after
were
we agreed
twitching.
on the destination.
I'm not hopping in no car with no random person.
I warmed my fingers up in front of the heating vent.
I'd rather walk than do that.
Asking a few questions along the lines of, was I local and how did I like living there? He said he only been here for a few months, but found it beautiful and hoped he could find happiness there. That comment struck me as a little odd, but I brushed it off. It began to snow and the road quickly got slippery. So he slowed and he kept his eyes straight out the windshield, driving silently. I was okay with that, as small talk was never my forte. About 10 minutes later, I noticed the car near the intersection we were approaching seemed to be sliding, so I said, "Watch out." He immediately hit the gas, shooting through the intersection and burst out with, "Don't ever scream at me." Needless to say,
Oh,
I was
heck
taken
no.
aback. I said, "Look, this is close enough. Just pull over here and I can get there." He didn't seem to hear me. So I said, "Richard, did you hear me? I said you can pull over here and let me out." But no
He's shaking
response.
and everything.
He just
Heck
stared straight
no.
ahead, driving faster now than he did when it started snowing. To say I was scared doesn't seem to cover the depth of the fear that began to rise in me. I didn't know if I should stay quiet or speak, but I was damn sure not going to yell after his
I'll hop
actions.
out that car.
After about a mile, he began to mumble under his breath. I couldn't quite make out what he was saying, but I assumed he was speaking to me. So I said, "What did you say? I couldn't hear you." He began to speak quietly and rapidly, saying things like, "You're always yelling at me. I've told you time and time again, do not yell at me. I don't appreciate it. No, you don't listen, you don't listen." And I was just sitting there looking at him. I was at a complete loss. I didn't know what to say in response or if I should say anything at all. I contemplated just jumping out of the car, but nixed that idea when I realized the door lock was missing.
Wow.
There was just a silver lined hole where it should have been. I started to cry and debate with myself about causing an accident by grabbing the wheel and hoping for the best, when he suddenly looked at me for the first time since I had gotten in the car. He blinked several times, rapidly, then slowed the car, pulling into a gas station. I waited to see if he unlocked the doors, not wanting to say anything to set him off again. After a minute or two, he quietly said, "I think I better let you out of here." Then he hit the
Yeah.
button to the door locks, and he opened the door. I wasn't about to hesitate, so I jumped out of the car as if I were on fire. I was about to turn and walk into the gas station when he called my name. He looked so damn sad and I hesitated. He apologized, said he was sorry if he had frightened me, that he never would have harmed me, and he asked if I'd be able to get home okay. I said I would and closed the door. He began to pull out of the gas station, but stopped suddenly. He just sat there for a couple of moments, his head down. I froze, wondering what the hell was up, and was about to run into the gas station, but he opened his window and yelled at me, waving something in his hand. My hat. I left it on his seat. I slowly approached the side of his car, and he handed it to me, apologizing again. I didn't know what else to say,
Okay.
so I just said, "Thanks." I watched as he drove off, making sure he was out of sight before moving on so he wouldn't know which direction I was heading. As I walked, I went to put my hat back on, and a piece of paper fell out of it. Folded into a paper was $100 bill. The paper said, "I'm sorry. Please take a cab and don't hitchhike anymore tonight." I didn't. In fact, it was the last time I ever hitchhiked in my life. Will never, ever do that again.
Yeah.
Heck no. Y'all, be careful who y'all hopping in the car with. Because you don't know who you hopping up in the car with or picking up.
Mm-hmm.
One day, I got a call from a few friends of mine about going to the mall. It was a stressful week at work, so I thought some retail therapy would definitely help. We ended up shopping for a few hours, so we decided that hitting the food court would be the spot. I gave the girls my order, and I told them I would come back and find them as I needed them after I used the restroom. The restrooms are at the end of the large and wide corridor. They were your typical mall type with lots of stalls. Anyway, so I sat down to use the bathroom, and I could see from the gap on the floor between the wall of the stall and the floor, lots of movement from someone's shadow. I wasn't sure if they were getting changed or not, so I didn't pay attention at first, but it felt like the shadow was coming from above at some points. As if the light above was being obstructed by something. After maybe the third time, I
Okay,
decided
somebody's
to look up and I could see a
Yeah, I
know.
leaning
Yeah.
over. Someone was taking photos of me. I instantly shouted out, "What are you doing, you pervert?" And in a moment of disbelief,
Yo!
this all very quickly turned into fear as I got up and leaped out of the stall and was greeted by an empty bathroom. Not one person.
You better start running.
And from the quick glance of the mirrors opposite, there was only one stall shut, and it was the one next to me. I ran for the restroom exit, but it was locked. Luckily, it had a twist lock, and I could turn it as I did. I heard the stall open from behind me. I got out immediately and turned as I exited and noticed a sign on the door saying, "Closed for maintenance." This sign was not here when I went in. I screamed some more, shouting to get anyone's attention as I ran down the corridor toward the food hall, and had obviously caught the attention of a few people. A group of three guys stopped me and clearly could see the panic in my eyes. They asked me questions and I explained. Two guys ran toward the ladies' restroom, and one to find security. Security arrived within seconds. After a while, a rather large crowd had gathered due to the commotion.
We're about 30
Yeah,
seconds away
it's
from
scary
the
though.
celebrations.
Oh
Every
my
kid in my class
goodness.
copes with it differently.
And then it's like I feel bad.
And
Like I
although
feel
I was
bad for the ladies, man, because it's like
Mm-hmm.
there do be dudes out there that like really be doing that creepy stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I be feeling like, come on, man, like that's not even cool, bro. Like you gotta chill, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like people like that is disgusting, man. Like,
was in the comfort of my friends, security, and now the police, I never felt so alone. Security and police, nor two guys found anyone. There was a few staff only, and fire exit doors open down the corridor, so plenty of escape routes for whoever this guy was. I gave my statements down at the station later that day once my parents showed up. The police said they had security tapes from the cameras that point down the corridor and will keep us updated with any news. Hopefully, they find this guy.
right.
When I was 15, my mother went out shopping and left me in charge of the house. It was starting to get dark, and I realized my little brother was nowhere to be found. I asked my sister if she knew where he was, and she said he had gone to the park around the corner to kick his soccer ball around.
Why is he going to the park by
Told her to watch the
himself?
house while I
Yeah.
was gone and ran off to the
Man, mom would have bombed
When
on
I
us.
got there,
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised to find the park completely empty. I called out my brother's name, but there was no answer. I started to get worried, and all of a sudden I heard a faint, muffled noise coming from my left. I turned just in time to see a tall figure disappearing behind a large fence. I sprinted as fast as I could, and when I came around to the other side of the fence, I saw something that almost made me choke in horror.
Yo.
Being dragged down the alleyway by a tall
Yeah, you're not going to do
I
that.
flew into a
No.
rage
Oh,
and
he would have got the fade, bro.
I
Mm-hmm.
ran at him and he must have heard me coming because he turned around and faced me and he dropped my younger brother. The tall man tried to grab me, but I was running at him so fast that when I slammed into him, it knocked him off his feet. He swore and tried to get back up, but I just started stomping on his face. Without stopping to ask questions, I picked my brother up and ran as fast as I could back to our house.
Why is he so
By
young
this
like that
time,
going out
his
the house
wife
by
outside was
himself?
Exactly.
That's what I don't
My
get.
wife was worried when she saw the look on our face. She realized that something bad had happened. As I explained, my brother and I started crying, and my mom gave us both the biggest hug ever, and she cried with us. Eventually, the police were called, but this guy was never found.
Mm.
Uh-uh. Y'all be careful.
A few years
Mm.
ago, more like 10 years ago, I used to be big into visiting weird websites. I had a lot of time on my hand due to not playing sports, nor did I volunteer for anything at all in high school. I told my friend Mark that I was starting to get bored. Honestly, I was bored with what I was experiencing on these websites. He said I should go on the deep web. He and I used to go on the deep web,
Nah,
but
Brody.
never found anything.
Again, nothing
So
good
I
can ever
decided to
come from
search
that.
through some more stuff, a little deeper. I searched for hours every day for about 2.5
The
months.
monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Still nothing that I hadn't seen already. I told Mark, and of course he said just visit the dark web. When I did go on the dark web, I saw chat rooms, all with different names. I came across one named I, as in EYE. It was all in caps. I entered the chat, but before entering the live chat, you are assigned a number. Mine was P34. I confirmed my number and entered. There were
Man.
hundreds of people.
Mm-hmm.
It be
The
some
comments were crazy.
weirdos.
At
Yep.
first, I didn't understand
In
what
this
was going
dark
on.
web, deep
The
webs.
screen was
Oh
black,
no,
then a
bro.
name popped up on the screen that said Mr. Wiggles.
Mm.
The comments immediately stopped and a voice came
Mr.
over my speaker.
Wiggles.
Welcome, P34. Then his name disappeared off of the screen and the comments continued, everyone giving me welcomes. A few minutes go by, then a countdown from 10 pops up on the screen. Then the chat goes crazy. Once it reached the number 1, the screen went straight to what looks like a view from a camera just watching someone, what looks like at their home.
Oh,
I sat there watching this for 20 minutes and nothing happened, so I shut down my computer. The next day I went to school, had a normal day, went to Walmart, then I went home. I decided to go back on the same chat from before.
Again.
I confirmed my
bruh.
number P34 and again, there were hundreds of people commenting. Mr. Wiggles popped up and just like before, the comments stopped. Across the screen it said, no new members tonight. Then the countdown started again. Everyone in the chat started going wild. The countdown finished and then it was showing the point of view from a camera again. But
Don't
it was
tell me this
outside of the
guy.
school.
Yo, he went to your
High school
school, bro.
I thought so.
At
Yeah,
that
he's
point, I'm
falling
like,
right
Bro.
I couldn't tell if it was focused on a certain person or just watching the school. After 30 minutes of watching the video, our school bell rang and everyone started to come outside while whoever was recording was positioned across the street in the car.
there.
Once everyone came out, the person got out the car and started to follow a crowd of kids. Everyone started to split from each other, and the person recording started to follow someone. It was my friend Mark. He had to be at least 100 feet behind him. I started to call
Wow.
Mark, but he didn't answer. I kept calling him as I watched the video, but nothing. The person followed him to his house and sat outside of his house for a few minutes. The man behind the camera finally said, no parents are home. And he began to walk to Mark's house, rang the
Yo.
doorbell,
Yo,
and
bro.
waited as he continued to record. A few seconds go by, and Mark opened the door. He looked confused, and the guy said, P34 sent me. And Martin looked afraid that the camera shut off and everyone in the chat left. So I did too. I called Mark's house phone instead of his cell phone, and his mother answered. I asked for Mark, and she said that she thought he was with me. I panicked. I then received a notification on my phone from my Gmail account. It said the sender was Mr. Wiggles. The message was, I'm getting closer, P34. Mark says hi. I was shocked and didn't know what to do, so I called the cops. They didn't do anything about it because the email disappeared. I haven't been on the dark web since, and no one has seen Mark. Still to this day, I receive messages with pictures of me in random places, along with the same written message that said, it can happen anytime. I honestly wish I never went on the dark web.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Stay off of the dark web.
That joint is not fun. That joint is creepy. Oh, man. Yo, man, that was wild.
Yeah.
We learned something from this. Y'all, please be aware of your surroundings. Don't go on no dark web. Please avoid a lot of things, and please see the red flags. Don't avoid the red flags, because that's what be happening with people, and that's when things be happening. So please be careful out here, y'all. So yeah, that was it, man. Part 2, we did it.
Yeah.
Mr. Nightmare Files, man. You did your thing on this one, man.
Yep.
I love it. You got anything to say about this?
Other than it was scary.
Yo, you got me and my brother, man. We feeling kind of scared over here now. But yeah, that was it for today. We did part 2 of the 16 stories animated, horror stories animated, and we'll see y'all in the next reaction.
Okay.
So please subscribe to Anime Horror Gang. Please join our big happy family, and we'll see y'all next time.
Yep.
Bye.